So hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and today I want to talk a little bit about my first subsume setup, which, Oh yeah, that's just the Perfect Taker. She's trying her best, bless her heart. Whee! But as I was saying, the setup turned out about as well as I'd expected, maybe even a little bit better, so let's check it out. So what did I do? Well, that actually makes it sound like I did something bad, which is very much not true. I did something very good instead. I put Warcry on Inaros Prime, and the result is, well, about as glorious as you would expect. But how do you do such a thing? Well, first you need to get to rank 3 with the Entrati Syndicate and the Necrolisk. Then you need to buy the Helmet segment blueprint from Kermeros, or the Sun, build the segment in your foundry, and this then allows you to enter the Helminth room without having a pustule on your neck to install the segment by entering the chair. Now at the start you will have some generic abilities that you can work with and you can put on any frame you want, and you will also be able to name and feed your Helminth. But you can also feed a non-primed Warframe to Helminth, which will take 24 hours, after which you will gain one of the Warframe's abilities, which is predetermined, to play around with instead. And for Valkyr, that ability is Warcry, which is arguably the best part of our kit. So once the 24 hours are up and Valkyr has been numbed up by the Helminth, you can walk in with any frame and replace any of your abilities, in my case Devour, on any combination of configurations that you want with Warcry. And then never use Valkyr ever again, because Inaros with Warcry, it's just better Valkyr. Now granted, the Warcry you get this way isn't as strong as Valkyr's Warcry, because Warcry is one of the few abilities that's nerfed if you use it on another frame, just like Rhino's Roar. But does that make a big difference, or does it even matter in any way, shape or form? Absolutely not. Now you can make the build as expensive as you want. I, for example, went for a very expensive setup where I invested 2 Umbra Forma and then 2 regular Forma to fit everything in. Now for the aura, I personally went with Corrosive Projection, which is really good for Steel Path, which is what I kind of designed this character for, because their enemies have ludicrous armor and makes them ridiculously tanky, so reducing it by a percentage is really strong. Then for the Exiles, I went with Prime Sure-Footed, which I absolutely love because it's a very easy way to fix all knockdowns, both coming from enemies but also from your own weapons if you're running something explosive. You just need something like this for a melee setup, or it's not gonna be fun because you're constantly gonna get knocked down. But moving on from there, we have all 3 of the Umbra mods, so Vitality for health, Fiber for armor, and then Intensify for strength. And this I absolutely love. It is perfect because normally you would still run Intensify to buff Vitality and Fiber from the set, but you can actually utilize it on this setup because it buffs your Warcry, so that's really cool. And you also get some tower resistance, which isn't the worst thing in the world. After that, we're gonna run Gladiator Resolve for the health and Gladiator Aegis for the armor, but these are here actually mainly for the set bonus, because it's kind of like a mini Blood Rush effect that stacks on top of Blood Rush. So if you're running something light attack based, this will give you more crit scaling. However, if you're running something heavy attack based, you can actually take out Aegis and put in Carnage Carapace instead. And this way you get more stats first of all, so you have more health and armor, but every time you kill something with a heavy attack, you get 10% evasion, which is just a chance to avoid damage, and status immunity for 2 seconds, which is just really nice. However, if you're running Corrupt Charge, which gives you a permanent 2x combo multi, the Gladiator mods are probably better. Now after that, we're gonna put on Adaptation, which in combination with everything else we have on this belt and our arcanes, makes us pretty much indestructible. And I do actually mean indestructible, especially if you have maxed out Arcane Grace, because at that point there are only very few things that can actually kill you. Or your companion, if you have a companion that can use a link mod so it can scale with your health and armor. And even if you don't have Arcane Grace, by the way, you don't have to worry because you're still pretty much indestructible as long as you utilize Inaros' passive, where whenever he kills something with a finisher, he recovers a percentage of his maximum life. Then we are going to slap on Eternal War, which is the augment for Warcry, which extends the duration of Warcry every time you get a melee kill. And melee kill means kill with a melee weapon. So if, for example, you're using a gunblade like the Stropha and you kill an enemy with a projectile, it will still count. And to top it all off, I like to run Primed Continuity even with Eternal War, because what this does is it extends the duration of Warcry, but it also gives you more extra duration from Eternal War, so it makes it even easier to sustain. But if you feel like Eternal War on its own is good enough, you can replace this with something else. This setup is just great because, you know, your knockdown immune from prime sure-footed, so you don't have to worry about getting close to heavy gunners and bombards and that kind of enemies. You are damn near indestructible, especially if you have Arcane Grace, or you at least take advantage of Inaros' passive, or you use the secondary function from Scarab Swarm. You get extra crit scaling from the Gladiator mods, and you of course get a ton of extra attack speed and armor from Warcry. So for me, this is kind of like the perfect melee build. And by the way, the Stropha is modded for radiation for Necromex, that's why it's not doing that much damage. So there it is, an Eternal War Inaros. I never thought I would see the day, but I am glad it has come because this is like the maximum level of spice. It is very, very spicy indeed. And I think that's enough blabbering for today, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.